Hello guys. I've got quite a few videos to do actually today because I have fallen behind. Um this one is going to be Marine Flagg's amended complaint against Taylor Swift. I've also got a video to do on the resignation of the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Um and then I've also that's it. So Celeste Smith, who is suing the Wayfarer Foundation and Steve Sauritz, she has responded to the motions to dismiss her complaint, which has got to be undeniably the most frivolous thing I've ever seen. And I've had a skim of her response, and it is just you're gonna want to be here for it because it is going to be anger inducing. And I'm gonna do it today, which in the UK, we are in the midst of a heat wave. I'm not even joking, like how hot it is here right now. I feel like I am downwind of a fart from Satan's asshole after he has shed chicken wings with Sean Evans. That's how bad it is. For reference, anyone who was wondering who's Sean Evans and what a chicken wing's got to do with it. If like when I'm not doing something or if I just need to decompress, I either watch something like hoof trimming. I'm such a hoofer. um, or I watch it's a YouTube channel called First We Feast, where they eat gradually hotter and hotter chicken wings. And then just watch all these celebrities, struggle and cope. The Ryan Reynolds one, he did it with Hugh Jackman. That was pretty fun. That was funny to watch him suffering. Okay. Yeah, sorry. Highly recommend you guys checking that out if you don't already. But I'm sure you already know all about that. Okay, so let's go to this complaint. I haven't gone through this one, so we're kind of just going to read it in real time together. All right. Plaintiff Maren Flagg alleges as follows based on personal knowledge as to her own conduct and on information and belief as to all other matters. In 2014, in the pages of Las Vegas Weekly, a working performer began writing candidly about her life in the entertainment industry. Maren Flagg, professionally known as Marine Wade, called it Confessions of a Showgirl. The name stuck. What began as a weekly column became a live show. The live show became a touring performance. Over the course of a decade, Confessions of a Showgirl grew into an entertainment brand spanning performances, writing a book, a podcast, and video content built by one person, city by city, and show by show. Plaintiff has performed Confessions of a Showgirl across the United States at established venues, including New York City's Laurie Beechman Theatre and Myron's at the Smith Center in Las Vegas. She has appeared on television under that name, earned national press coverage, and continues to extend the brand into the new media. In 2015, the United States Patent and Trademark Office registered Confessions of a Showgirl for entertainment services. After years of continuous use, the mark became incontestable, a statutory recognition of the goodwill plaintiff earned through sustained personal effort. For more than a decade, Confessions of a Showgirl identified a single source, plaintiff. Then in 2025, defendant Taylor Swift launched a brand of her own, The Life of a Showgirl. Swift personally selected the name, approved it, promoted it, and shares in the revenue it generates. Around it, her affiliated entities built a coordinated commercial program. TAS Rights Management owns and licenses the mark. UMG Recordings distributes the recordings and related goods, and Bravado International Group Merchandising Services designs, manufactures, and sells the branded merchandise. Within weeks, The Life of a Showgirl was affixed to consumer goods, stamped onto labels, tags, packaging, and deployed as a source identifier across retail channels aimed at the same audience plaintiff had spent years cultivating. The similarity between Confessions of a Showgirl and The Life of a Showgirl is immediate. The marks share the same grammatical structure and resolve on the same dominant phrase, of a showgirl. Both convey the same commercial impression, an inside behind-the-scenes account of a showgirl's life, and both reach the same consumers on overlapping goods and services through the same channels. So, like other marks, that consumers have already begun to conflate them, using plaintiff's mark to refer to defendant's goods. That similarity would not have escaped defendant's notice. On Swift's behalf alone, TAS holds one of the largest trademark portfolios in entertainment, more than 175 registrations and applications, and growing. For defendants' legal and brand management teams, trademark clearance is routine. A standard search would have revealed plaintiff's federally registered incontestable mark and her years of prior use. Indeed, defendants are not merely familiar with trademark law, they are among its most vigorous enforcers, having filed multiple federal actions to seize goods from vendors selling trademark merchandise near concert venues. They know firsthand the harm that infringement inflicts on a brand, having leveraged that very harm in federal court when it served their interest to do so. If defendants missed plaintiff's mark, the USPTO did not. It refused to register The Life of a Showgirl, citing plaintiff's Confessions of a Showgirl registration by name and number, and finding the two marks confusingly similar. Defendants were thus on actual notice that their designation was likely to be confused with a mark that already belonged to someone else. They expanded their use anyway. Plaintiff was never contacted. The result is textbook reverse confusion. A junior user's overwhelming commercial presence drowns out the senior user's mark, until consumers begin to assume that the original is the imitation. What plaintiff had built over 12 years, defendants threatened to erase in weeks. Defendants may contend that The Life of a Showgirl as the title of a musical work lies beyond the reach of trademark law. It does not. Whatever protection might attach to expression, it does not immunize defendants' separate decision to adopt an increasingly similar name as a trademark. The only question then is whether defendants use The Life of a Showgirl as a source identifier. They did, and their own filings prove it. TAS applied to register the name as a trademark across 14 classes of goods, musical recordings, CDs and records among them, but also candles, shoelaces, disposable napkins, and other ordinary consumer goods that bear no expressive content at all. One does not register expression, one registers a trademark. Plaintiff, as a performer herself, respects Swift's right to creative expression, and nothing in this action challenges it. But what defendants did here is not expression, it is infringing trademark use. The USPTO told defendants as much when it refused their application. They proceeded anyway, at a scale that threatens to erase plaintiff from her own brand. Those are not artistic choices but commercial ones, and they have consequences. Plaintiff brings this action to protect the goodwill she has built, to halt further confusion in the marketplace, and to ensure that the identity of her brand remains hers. So I'm not going to go through the jurisdiction or the parties, because we did cover that in the original complaint. Okay, factual allegations. Plaintiff's development of the Confessions of a Showgirl brand. Plaintiff is a singer, songwriter, comedian and author who has developed and operated the Confessions of a Showgirl brand for more than a decade. Plaintiff began using the Confessions of a Showgirl mark in commerce in or about 2014 in connection with writing and entertainment content, beginning with a column in Las Vegas Weekly about her experiences as a working performer. The column evolved into a live cabaret show presented under the Confessions of a Showgirl name. That show combined singing, music, and comedy drawn from plaintiff's life as a working performer, including candid, humorous accounts of the gap between the glamorized perception and the reality of a career in entertainment, from getting stuck inside a giant birthday cake to impersonating a Madonna impersonator. Since 2014, Plaintiff has performed Confessions of a Showgirl at venues across the United States, including Arizona, Florida, Indiana, Nevada, New Jersey, and New York. Performances have taken place at established venues such as the Laurie Beechman Theatre in New York City and Myron's at the Smith Center in Las Vegas, and have been presented to audiences numbering in the thousands. Plaintiff most recently performed the show in January 2026. A California native, Plaintiff maintains a substantial following in California where her audience, industry relationships, and entertainment presence run deep, and where demand for the Confessions of a Showgirl show continues. Her brand reaches California consumers through her performances, her recorded and online content, and the retail channels in which her Confessions of a Showgirl works are offered. Plaintiff's show is musically directed by Keith Thompson, whose credits include Jersey Boys, Mamma Mia, and We Will Rock You. Plaintiff's show has been featured in entertainment publications including Broadway World. She has made numerous television appearances and hosted entertainment segments under the Confessions of a Showgirl name. Plaintiff has extended the Confessions of a Showgirl brand across multiple formats and consumer-facing offerings, including a published book, online video content distributed through YouTube and social media, and a podcast under the same name. Plaintiff maintains an online presence through the website www.confessionsofashowgirl.com and associated channels through which her performances, media, and related content reach the public. Plaintiff has continuously used Confessions of a Showgirl as the identifying name for her entertainment services and related works since 2014. Through this continuous use, Confessions of a Showgirl has come to identify Plaintiff as the source of these services and has developed substantial goodwill, reflected in Plaintiff's sustained booking history and audience recognition across multiple platforms. Plaintiff owns a U.S. trademark for Confessions of a Showgirl in connection with entertainment services in International Class 41. That registration is valid, subsistent, and incontestable. Confessions of a Showgirl is inherently distinctive as applied to plaintiff's services, and the mark's incontestable status forecloses any challenge to its validity on the ground of mere descriptiveness. Defendant's adoption and use of the life of a showgirl. In 2025, Swift personally selected and adopted the life of a showgirl for use in connection with a musical release and more broadly as a source identifier for consumer goods. Swift personally advertised it through public appearances and social media. The remaining defendants executed the commercial program. TAS authorized, licensed, and directed the use of the designation as a trademark. UMG distributed and commercially exploited the recordings and related goods, and Bravado designed, manufactured, and sold the consumer merchandise. Together, defendants operated as a coordinated enterprise to bring the life of a showgirl to market as a branded line of goods. Through retail channels operated by or on behalf of defendants, including the Taylor Swift online store, defendants offer numerous goods identified by the life of a showgirl, organized under a dedicated retail section labeled the Life of a Showgirl Shop. The Life of a Showgirl functions as a source identifier across a number of consumer goods, including hairbrushes, flat weave towels, signet rings, candles, tumblers, and other personal care and home goods. The designation appears in the product names themselves. The Life of a Showgirl hairbrush. God. Which bears the phrase printed on the brush itself. The Life of a Showgirl signet ring. The Life of a Showgirl flat weave towel. The Life of a Showgirl candle. And the Life of a Showgirl tumbler. I mean, that's just selling crap with the fucking logo on it. Oh. Don't know, some celebrities will just commercialize the crap out of everything, and it annoys me. You're a singer, not an online shop. So, the Life of a Showgirl also appears on the apparel itself and its packaging in the manner of a brand. I mean, I would agree that sounds very much like a brand. On garments, it is printed where a clothing's brand name customarily identifies the source of the item, at the back of the neck on tops and at the rear of the waistband on pants, alongside the country of origin and the registered identification number marking the goods as authentic merchandise. It also appears on the barcode stickers affixed to the goods, beside the SKU and country of origin information. In each location, the designation occupies the place reserved for the mark that identifies who makes the product. The commercial program extended the Life of a Showgirl into consumer-facing collaborations with national brands, including Starbucks, Target, and TikTok, directing consumers to purchase goods bearing Dependents designation. Across all of these activities, Dependents use the Life of a Showgirl as a trademark and source identifier for a coordinated line of consumer goods in the product names, labeling, packaging, and sale of those goods, not merely as the title of a creative work. The relationship between the parties and goods and services. The parties, goods, and services are related. Plaintiff offers recorded video and digital content, a book, a podcast, and live shows under the Confessions of a Showgirl mark. Defendants use the Life of a Showgirl on a line of branded consumer goods, recorded music, and digital content. Both sets of offerings are consumer-facing entertainment products and content of a kind the public associates with a single source. Both parties' offerings center on live musical performance. Plaintiff's show combines music, singing, and live performance. Swift's release does the same and includes cabaret versions of the songs drawing on the same cabaret register in which plaintiff performs. Consumers understand that entertainment marks routinely extend across formats and into adjacent categories. Live performance, recorded media, film, and branded merchandise, and associate that range of uses with a common source. Plaintiff already sells Confession of a Showgirl's branded goods, including a published book, and the brand's natural zone of expansion reaches further branded merchandise, recorded music, and audiobooks, categories in which defendants already use the Life of a Showgirl. The same parties reach overlapping audiences of entertainment consumers through the same channels: stage, television, online retail, social media, and internet search, including the same and similar online storefronts and platforms. A consumer who searches online for plaintiff's Confessions of a Showgirl is now presented with results dominated by defendants' The Life of a Showgirl. The parties shared dominant phrase, the relatedness of their entertainment offerings, their convergent channels, and defendants' overwhelming commercial saturation make confusion as to source, affiliation, or sponsorship likely. The USPTO's refusal and defendants' continued use. Defendants through TAS sought federal trademark protection for the designation The Life of a Showgirl, with the USPTO on August 11, 2025. That application claimed priority based on a foreign trademark application for the life of a showgirl filed in Jamaica on May 15th, 2025, 3 months before the album was publicly announced. Before the public had ever heard the phrase as the title of anything, then defendants had already moved to lock it down as a trademark, first in foreign registry and then at home. So she tried to register it in Jamaica first. That is not how a party protects the title of a creative work. That is how a party secures a brand. And defendants attempted to secure it far beyond music. The application spans 14 international classes. One is Class 41, the same class in which plaintiff's mark is registered, covering musical performances and live entertainment. Most of the other classes reach well beyond music into ordinary consumer goods that carry no expressive content at all. Among them, disposable napkins. Disposable napkins, fuck's sake. Napkin rings, pot holders, Christmas tree skirts, and shoelaces. On November 5th, 2025, the USPTO issued a non-final office action refusing registration as to international classes 9 and 41 of the life of a showgirl, based on a likelihood of confusion with plaintiff's federally registered Confessions of a Showgirl mark. The examining attorney found that the marks are identical in their shared terms of a showgirl, are similar in appearance and sound, and convey a similar overall commercial impression. The examining attorney further observed that the life of a showgirl could be viewed as an extension of plaintiff's brand. The examining attorney also found that the parties' goods and services are closely related, noting that both marks are used in connection with entertainment services involving live musical performances, and that consumers encountering both marks would be likely to assume a connection between the parties. Plaintiff's connection to the phrase predates defendant's use. Years before defendants adopted it, plaintiff used Life of a Showgirl and variations as extensions of her Confessions of a Showgirl brand, including A Night in the Life of a Showgirl at Sea in 2014, The Secret Life of a Showgirl 2015, and more recently, Maren Flagg, The Real, Raw, and Unglamorous Side of the Glamorous Life of a Showgirl 2024, used to promote her live show. Defendants are sophisticated commercial actors with dedicated legal and brand management teams for whom trademark clearance is routine. A standard search would have revealed plaintiff's federally registered mark and her long-standing prior use in commerce. Defendants are also among trademark law's most active enforcers. Through SWIFT and TAS, they have filed multiple federal actions seeking injunctive relief and seizure orders against the sale of merchandise bearing their designations. They know from their own enforcement exactly what trademark infringement is and what it costs the owner of a mark. Defendants had that knowledge here. They knew of defendants' registered mark, and the USPTO told them their designation was likely to be confused with it. They continued anyway. SWIFT promoting the designation, UMG distributing the recordings and related goods, and Bravado manufacturing and selling the merchandise, and they expanded that use rather than stopping it. At no point have defendants sought or obtained plaintiff's consent or authorization to use the Life of a Showgirl or any similar designation. Through defendants' substantially greater commercial scale and retail reach, including a global merchandising operation and national brand collaborations, goods bearing the designation have been widely offered and sold to consumers. The Life of a Showgirl sold for more than 4 million US album equivalent units in its first week, a debut defendants have described as the largest first week of sales in modern music history. Defendants' use of the Life of a Showgirl is ongoing and expanding. SWIFT continues to advertise, Bravado continues to manufacture and sell, and UMG continues to distribute goods bearing the designation through retail channels, reaching consumers nationwide. Each additional sale compounds the confusion in the marketplace and further erodes plaintiff's ability to be recognized as the sole source of her confessions of a showgirl brand. The harm to plaintiff's goodwill is not fully compensable through monetary damages. As a result, consumers encountering plaintiff's confessions of a showgirl mark, including through search engines and online platforms where defendants' content now dominates the results, are likely to believe that her services originate with, are affiliated with, or are authorized by defendants. Worse, they increasingly perceive her decade-old original as derived from defendants' later release, a tribute traded on the life of a showgirl, much as audiences understand Purple Rain to be a tribute to Prince's Purple Rain. Plaintiff has felt the consequences of this reverse confusion directly. As a solo performer in the same entertainment space, she has had to navigate the wave of consumer attention defendants' program generated, and to maintain her presence in a conversation and a marketplace defendants had overtaken. Defendants' use of the life of a showgirl, backed by the substantial commercial infrastructure of Swift, TAS, UMG, and Bravado, and amplified through national brand collaborations, reaching millions of consumers, has threatened to overwhelm plaintiff's senior mark and to impair plaintiff's ability to control the identity and goodwill associated with her brand. The life of a showgirl is one designation among more than 175 active or pending trademark registrations managed by TAS on behalf of Swift, spanning names, phrases, and commercial designations across one of the most extensive trademark portfolios in the entertainment industry. Defendants' broader enterprise does not depend on the continued use of any single designation. By contrast, Confessions of a Showgirl is the sole trademark under which plaintiff has built her professional identity for more than a decade. It is not one mark among hundreds. It is the only one she has. The continued erosion of that mark threatens the entirety of plaintiff's brand. Defendants adopted the life of a showgirl with knowledge of plaintiff's federally registered mark, continued to expand their use after the USPTO refused their application on likelihood of confusion grounds, and have at no point sought plaintiff's consent. Plaintiff is entitled to relief. So I'm not going to read all the details of the counts because they are largely the same. The first count is trademark infringement against all defendants. Second one is false designation of origin and unfair competition, and that is against all defendants. And then the third one, unfair competition against all defendants. So, prayer for relief. Wherefore, plaintiff respectfully requests that the court enter judgment in her favour and against defendant as follows: for a permanent injunction, enjoining defendants and their officers, agents, servants, employees, attorneys, successors, assigns, and all persons acting in concert or participation with them from using the life of a showgirl or any other mark confusingly similar to plaintiff's Confessions of a Showgirl mark as a trademark or other source identifying designation in connection with goods or services in a manner likely to cause confusion. For preliminary injunctive relief during the pendency of this action, and there is a pending injunctive preliminary injunctive relief motion, as sought in plaintiff's pending motion for a preliminary injunction, restraining defendants from using the life of a showgirl or any confusingly similar designation as a trademark or source identifying designation in connection with goods or services. For an order requiring defendants to cease and permanently discontinue all use of the life of a showgirl or any confusingly similar designation as a trademark or source identifying designation in connection with any goods or services. For an accounting and disgorgement of all profits earned by defendants attributable to their use of the life of a showgirl or any confusingly similar designation, including profits derived from the sale of goods bearing that designation and other source identifying uses thereof. for an award of plaintiff's actual damages sustained as a result of defendant's unlawful conduct, for treble damages, where appropriate, for restitution to the extent permitted by law and other equitable relief pursuant to California Business and Professional Code, Section 17203, for an award of plaintiff's costs of suit, for a reward of attorney's fees, on the ground that this is an exceptional case, and for such other and further relief that the court deems just and proper. And then there's a demand for a jury trial. So very interesting, fascinating. There is a hearing transcript I will go through once I've got the other videos out the way that I plan to do. That might be probably start of next week now. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments.